Yo, what is going on, my YouTube people? 2099 back here with another video, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the world's most underrated player in football at the moment. The player that I'm going to be talking about is Mehdi Taremi from FC Porto. Now, before I get on with this short video essay, if you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to smash that like button, subscribe. I just hit 3,000 subscribers, by the way, and I just want to thank you all for this incredible journey. I hope you guys had a happy holidays as well. Anyways, let's get started. The best way to start this is, why do I consider him as the most underrated player in world football at the current moment? Well, he plays for FC Porto. He's a striker. He's from Iran. He is 30 years old, which I know sounds a little too old for you guys in terms of football. Some people would expect 25, 24, 23 when it comes to the most underrated player. But no, I don't really think age has to do anything with just how good of a player he really is. He is currently the top joint scorer. He's also at the top with the assist. He's also joint in that. And he currently has 14 goals and assists. That is in the top of the league, so he has one more than the second, I believe. I think the second has 13 goals and assists, but he has 9 goals and 5 assists. It's just incredible. It's amazing. He's had a terrific season. In the Champions League, he also has 5 goals and 2 assists, which are both in the top 5, and he's doing fantastic. But why is he underrated? Why do I consider him as underrated? Well, I've seen so many people talk about strikers or attacking players, and Mehdi Taremi just never seems to be in that conversation. A lot of people will say, oh, well, he plays in the Portuguese League. That still doesn't change the fact that he's doing absolutely incredible in that league. So if you want to put the Portuguese League outside, let's talk about the Champions League. 5 goals, 2 assists, one of the best players in the Champions League so far for sure. He's just been amazing for Porto, and he has helped Porto be #1 in their group. They had Atletico Madrid, Leverkusen, and Club Brugge. Atletico Madrid and Leverkusen that are both out of the Champions League. Bruges and Porto are going to be on top, going to the round of 16, and they are now playing against Inter Milan. I'm very excited to see that game, to be honest. I'm really excited to see if Taremi can once again step up. But what makes Taremi so special? We're going to also talk about the World Cup performances that he had for Iran. Now, Iran, unfortunately, as you may know, didn't have the best of World Cup campaigns. But if there's a few players from Iran that stood up, the one that we're going to be talking about today, Mehdi Taremi. He's the guy who scored the only 2 goals against England. And I know the score was 6-2, but he was the only player who was genuinely playing well. Scored a beautiful goal on Jordan Pickford. We go into that second game against Wales where he was just fantastic. He was one of the top rated players on FootMob, by the way, and he's only played 3 games in total. That's just how good of a player he was. Mehdi Taremi is very underrated. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I'm very surprised to still see him at Porto. But if there's something you should know about Mehdi Taremi, is that he only started playing in Europe recently. Yes, he hasn't been playing in Europe since the age of 21, 22, like most players have. He's actually joined a team called Rio Ave in the Portuguese League a few years ago, and that was his first experience in Europe, and he was amazing. From the first season in Europe, he was one of the top scorers in the league. That is amazing. He then joined Porto for the next years. Absolutely fantastic. He's a goal-scoring machine. Keeps on scoring these goals. What's so special about Taremi is he's a pure striker usually. He can create, surprisingly. He's been very, very good at creating. That's why he's now, at the moment, the top joint player with the most assists in the Portuguese League. Maybe he'll win it. We don't know. But he's a player that you can count on to create, which is something I'm very shocked to see, as he's just known for his goal scoring, but he's actually a very good creator as well. He's the type of player that, isn't your typical Mbappe. He's flashy with all the pace and all the dribbles. No, he's the type of player that is there at the right time. You can rely on him to score goals. And we also have to talk about his penalties. He barely misses any penalties. He scored one in the World Cup against said England. I think that's another good part of his game, is that he's good at taking penalties. Now, he may not be a Harry Kane type of level when it comes to penalties, but you can rely on him to take the penalties for your team and score goals. That's why he's been so prolific with Porto as well. That's what I think about Mehdi Taremi in terms of his goal scoring and his creativity. Why is he still at Porto is a question that a lot of people have had mixed opinions on. For the most part, a lot of people would love him to stay at Porto simply because he genuinely has a chance, if he continues the way he's going on right now, to become Porto's all-time leading scorer. Literally, he's been that good for them. He can be amongst the names of Falcao and these type of players who have been, considered Porto legends. I'm sure Porto fans would already consider Taremi as a Porto legend. I'm not sure, but I've seen some do so. To add to that, Another part that I really am interested in sharing with you guys is whether I think he's going to transfer or not. The smart move would probably be to stay at Porto for the remainder of the season because his contract ends this summer. I was him, I would stay with Porto until the end of the season, and then maybe I get better offers, I would then go on. At the moment, there are a couple of teams that are interested. Not all of them are confirmed, but the one that I do know for sure is Arsenal had interest in him. At first, they had interest, then they dropped the interest, and then they got it back in recent weeks because Gabriel Jesus got injured. I would definitely see him in a team like Arsenal. I think he would be fantastic in a team like Arsenal. Arsenal, a team that are currently lacking a striker, I think Taremi would be absolutely perfect. But Arsenal fans, you have to watch out. He isn't your typical, Gabriel Jesus. Completely different player. He's there at the right time and is exactly what you need as a striker. And he's not necessarily, the flashy type of player when it comes to goal scorers as well. He can, scores a lot of tap-ins and, close range goals. So don't expect him to score outside the box every single time. He has produced moments of magic, notably that overhead kick against Chelsea in the Champions League where they won that game 1-0. But unfortunately, they didn't win on aggregate and they went out. That goal was actually voted in the Puskás Award later that year, which in my opinion, thought that it should have been the winner. But of course, they gave it to the Premier League goal scorer, Eric Lamela, for his beautiful Rabona kick, might I add. This is how good Mehdi Taremi really is. Here's a few stats for you. So he joined Rio Ave in July of 2019, and he played 36 games with them. And in those 36 games, he scored 21 goals. At the time of recording, he joined Porto in August of 2020, where he played 119 games and scored 67 goals and counting. That's just how good he is. That is genuinely a really good record. With Iran, when it comes to the national team, he's played a total of 40 games and he scored 21, notably 2 in the World Cup, as I've mentioned a few times before. So if you look at the stats, he definitely passes the test. If you look at the eye test, he definitely passes the test. So I think he is a complete striker. I definitely think a lot of big teams are missing out. We're just going to have to wait and see what he does for the future. But this was my take on Mehdi Taremi, how brilliant of a player, how smart of a player he is. And I really do hope the best for him in the future. Unfortunately, he's 30 years old. So he's a little bit of a late bloomer, kind of like Karim Benzema. That's not necessarily a bad thing. For starters, well, he won't be valued as much in the market. So if a team wants to go ahead and buy him, he won't be that expensive. It's notable to know that he currently has a 60 million release clause, which is insane. Generally speaking, if you were like to negotiate, I think he'd go for maybe 20, 25 million, at most 30 million. I don't see him go for more than that. I think he still has 3 or 4 years in him. I don't think he'll go past that. But if a team can pick him up for that period of time, I think that team would benefit quite a lot. Maybe he'll stay at Porto, maybe he'll leave. That is something neither I and you know. But let's hope the best for him. Let's hope he does well. Watch out for him in the Champions League, because I will tell you, he is a player that can definitely surprise you. So, Inter Milan Porto, watch it. Watch the Portuguese League if you wish as well. He's probably going to score an assist in that competition as well. That's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys have enjoyed today's video, please make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you guys are new as well. I want to know your guys' opinion on Mehdi Taremi. Is he a player that you would consider underrated? Is he a player that you would consider as one of the most underrated players on earth right now? Do you think he has a future at other big clubs? Do you think he should stay at Porto? All these questions to be asked. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. And yeah, follow me on Twitter. All my social links will be down in the description, my TikTok, Instagram, and such for you guys to check out. And yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Damn, I'm on red alert.